Please welcome Rahat Kurd.
That's great. Thank you all so much. Center A, Tyler, Zool, Rung Magazine for having me here tonight. Thank you, Zakir, for bringing us into this space. I'm going to read a poem which I wrote as a result of my many frequent walks in this city. And I just want to acknowledge the tremendous privilege that I have as a settler on this indigenous land. This is called Modern, and it's dedicated to the memory of my grandfather, Abdul Rahman. Master craftsmen of Samarkand, Iznik, and Isfahan, how would you look on the tiles Abdul Rahman made by hand from cement for honeycombed footpaths set into the front lawns of the homes of his daughters? Would their plain surfaces cool your eyes after all your centuries of visual prolixity? Would you read them as cold weather practicality or homage to the modern? Samarkand, Iznik, and Isfahan, I declare myself heir to your discipline of looking. By the dazzling life of the mind, you meant the daily hum of your streets, complicated music made visible. Samarkand, Iznik, and Isfahan, I'm so enraptured by your marriages of corals to turquoises, cobalts to golds, that for harmony, can a mere human hand outstretched to another ever compare? Your tulips and saws leaves, your arcades of tangled geometry, rebuke from across 4 centuries that I'm missing the point, that you hold in your beholder the anticipation of how, in what precise lyrical sphere, to be properly, humanly held. Stay, say the Shah-e-Zinda, the Shah Mosque, the Sultan Ahmed. Stay, you have arrived at the center of your world. You won't need to flee anywhere else. Samarkand, Iznik, and Isfahan, I see how younger cities covet your adornments. Radiant pieces of you keep turning up in their museums to give them size and cover the fear wealth might shrink them. In cinema after cinema, the century that cast you aside and let you fall into ruin promised us how elegantly the smoke would curl in the lamplight of our solitude, how the streets would urge us on to our departures and arrivals, that our happiness would hang on our ability to go and keep going. Samarkand, Iznik, and Isfahan, for the last 20 years of his life, Abdul Rahman would bend his back over the work in total absorption, breathing clouds of cement dust in with his air to his daughter's despair. On the low bench of nailed-together wood, we saw him select his tools, cut his stencils, mix chips of marble or quartz into the cement, make pots and tables to adorn the gardens of his daughters and the friends of his daughters. We grapple with his absence, the way we honored his instruction to bury him without the janazah. Reading the single linear arabesque he often printed around the rims in gray or blue or pink or black, as echo of medallions and hexameters, your painters and carvers repeated as countlessly as the telling of beads by worshipers in acute need of peace. In Srinagar, his street lamps ring the dull. His fountains and park benches invite passersby to stay, defy curfew, give life to myths of kings, only Kashmir. In truth, he wanted out, chafed against the war games and quagmire for which India and Pakistan abandoned the onyx and carnelian of their real names. In truth, he wanted to see New York, Samarkand, Iznik, and Isfahan. How did airport corridors that repeat and repeat become the template for our modern street? You are here, the cities assure us, as long as you're here, agrees with our slippery anywhere, glossing the snags and fault lines that messy human sentiment constantly strives to cling to, keeps moving, keeps pushing along. Yet I have paced the concrete walks for hours on my bitterest days and found relief nowhere but in their unbroken placelessness, unknowing whether the swept slate of their La ilaha paves over or clears the way for the blaze of your Il Allah. Thank you so much.